Hello, my virtual friends. My name is Catherine, also known as Miss Blue, and welcome to a museum of dubious splendors. This is a series of stories inspired by a Gujarati poet. It's quite a complicated thing. There's more explanation, a better one, in fact, on the good old itch.io page, which will be linked down below. But anyway, this is a sort of series of weird philosophical things portrayed in real life. I don't know, it's weird. Let's just get into it. Begin! I have no idea how this is gonna work. It looked pretty cool, so I thought I'd give it a shot. The following is an adaptation of a collection of stories written by the Gujarati poet Mir Umar Hassan. There you go. These stories, entitled In Dubious Splendor, were written in 1962 for the Malwa Chronicle, but were mangled and edited without the author's permission prior to their publication in serialized form. The collection became momentarily infamous as the subject of the first court case to attribute authorial ownership to independent India. Even today, despite countless restorative efforts by scholars, it cannot be said with any certainty that the text that we used for this adaptation was the original as written by Umar Hassan. Right. Okay, then now we know. Right. Oh. Now this is nice. Also, I recognize that chair from the Zion Museum. The two interconnect, apparently. But never mind. We're in a lake with lovely paper boats. I forgot what they were called for a second. I assume that's from the title screen. That's what that is. Oh, this is very floaty, but alright. Leave or stay? Okay, right. Well, there's not much really here to see, so I guess I shall leave. What more is out there into the world? So as you can see, for the start, Peter Gregory Cantor was a prolific traveller, the foundation of the doctrine of anthropologists, and treasurer of the Royal Academy. Cantor was known to all civilized world as an authority on peoples and customs of Hinduistan. But even the all-knowing Cantor was bewildered by the apparatus, an object that he wrote parsimoniously about in his annals, and later alluded to with deep regret in the journal that he maintained upon his return to England. The apparatus, as Cantor first described it in his Book of Travels, has no apparent purpose. It was a tubular object of indeterminate shape, found in the living space sapses of the people of Danta, often small enough to be placed in the what the fuck? I can't read, honestly. Almiriha, there you go. The apparatus seemed so commonplace that the people using it that Cantor could not ask what it was without crippling damage to his credibility as a member of the superior race, as he believed himself to be. Alright, I was on his side for a minute there, jeez. That it was man-made and not a creation of nature, but was evident, and Cantor made specific mention of its artifice, but beyond that record nothing else was written about the shape of material, its colour or form of its independent purpose or providence. Cantor was so startled by its presence that he did not even name it, and only called it the apparatus, whenever he made a scant mention of its presence in his annals. Aha. So I imagine that's what we're going to go on to next. Oh, never mind then. It seems that his fascination with the object had not gone unnoticed, and in an act of spontaneous diplomacy, the Raja of Sertuvan, the province that Cantor was touring, presented him with one of the mysterious objects, but the gift only served horror to Cantor, who found the apparatus a constant reminder of his bewilderment and his failure as a man of knowledge, for he had never worked up the courage to ask what it was. Cantor kept the apparatus at his house in Rellington, and made his provisions that in his will to have it displayed in the museum after his passing, hoping someone might shed some light upon its mysteries. And to this day, the replica of the apparatus can be found on the display, waiting for someone to identify what Cantor never could. Oh. My god! Is that the apparatus? Toothpaste! No one surely knows what it is. My god. Alrighty then. This is so floaty, it's crazy, okay. So there's a thumbnail for the game. We do anything with that? I clicked on it and the world just froze. Rouhani Parks. It is to the incredible life of Rouhani Parks that one must ascribe to the Museum of Matsuyapur, a stately haveli and with Victorian ornaments that sits imprudent upon the banks of the River Koi. The museum was built as a memorial to her husband, Joseph Parks, who died of malarial fever in the year of 1782. Magistrate Joseph Parks had arrived in Matsuyapur is a reformer, banished to oblivion in a small newfound providence of his own marriage to the youngest daughter of a Bedrutabadi nobleman. There you go. Parks was replaced as in charge of a small opium warehouse and a cantonment of 26 Afghan riflemen, who comprised the entirety of the company troops in the region. During the torrid monsoon that followed the appointment to his station, and mere months after which their arrival in Matsuyapur, Joseph Parks succumbed to malaria, leaving Rouhani Parks with little wealth on which to survive. Perhaps unwilling to return to a widow or resentful of the whim of those who had sent Joseph off to his untimely death, Rouhani Parks kept the demise of her husband secret from company officials and resumed duties of the Malaysian massacre till home herself, and in his stead. What is this? Apparently that's just highlighted for no reason. Never mind, we'll leave that alone then. Okay then, there's 2 doors here. The great artifact itself, and a chair. Oh, there's really nothing else to be here. And there's puddles. Apparently this room is slightly flooded, yet we will not... Wait, can we actually... Okay, we do have like a sort of spine here. At least we're not just a floating box that can just spin eternally. So then, great and powerful artifact, what are you? What secrets do you hold? Oh, apparently the secret to breaking the whole universe is there. Aha. Well, let's not look at that again. How about these arms? Reaching up to the heavens, where it's still raining, apparently. Awesome. Well, the heavens have therefore opened, therefore allowing spirits to come in. That's exactly it. That's why it rains, everyone. Well, that's what the turn of phrase is over here, at least. Heavens have opened, so it rains. Let's see. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I'm going to get motion sick if I do that, so let's just go for this door. Let's leave. Oh, wait. Well, if I do that door, yeah, it's the same thing. Okay, right. This door then. Let's leave to this one. Right is right, after all. To the somewhat blue abyss we go, for more story to be told. In the land between the Karatush Plateau and the mountains of Hindukush, there lived a pasha called Votkud, surrounded by the desert of 3 of its sides by unforgiving cliffs on the other. The kingdom of Uokri, in fact, of which Votkud Pasha was the ruler, was an inhospitable place, and yet in his harsh land, the capital of Uokri was a magnificent town, full of gilded mantrets and soft shade-laden streets. Such wealth in the desert en route to raiding trails provided an irresistible temptation for many warlords, but Pasha Votkud managed to keep the invaders at bay. The difficult task was no small part made possible by the guild of desert scouts that the Pasha had trained and commissioned. Under the tutelage of his chief military officer, a thin, nervous general called Senia Humru, in fact, several runners were hired and trained to run across the desert sands and chart the shifting landscapes every day. With their feet clad in coarse cotton and salves applied to their foreheads, these runners would maintain a constant and current repository of the ever-changing desert. They would record the positions of the waterholes and the dunes and the treacherous sand. They would note where the top layers of mud had dried too soon, leaving quagmire below, and where the camels could cross. I see, okay. I don't know if this connects to the other one, it might do. But it's in the same realm, that's probably it. Like how the Hans Christian Andersen fairy tales, those ones, they're not in the same universe, but they're written by the same guy, so you can imagine that it's in the same area, perhaps. Like how Into the Woods tied them all together. You remember that movie with James Corden? Kind of that level I think we're talking about here. And so with their endless running, they preserved to the Pasha and his army countless routes of attack to retreat that were used to repel the harried invaders and also to launch many successful plunder of neighborhood kingdoms. While the guides were well used to their desert air and heat, they never could protect their feet, for the hot sand and salt soon eroded everything. The younger scouts could bear their blisters very well, but as they got older they took carpentry or training, leaving their post with a royal pension. Every one of them retired after a few years, everyone except Ebu, the legendary runner, who had been guiding the Pasha and his army for centuries, without a blister on his feet. While traversing the desert, are you sure you're not going to be more concerned about the fact he did it for centuries? Not because, oh yeah, he didn't have a single blister on his feet. No, he did it for hundreds of years, apparently. As people could. While traversing the desert, Ebu's feet, through some miracle, had turned stiff and hide-like, so as to bear the rough sands and eroding salt. and he continued to sprint across the burning landscape with the abandon of a youth. When Ebu died in his 673rd year of service, the Pasha decreed that Ebu's feet would be preserved in honor of his exceptional service and capability. It is a replica of these feet that are displayed here at the museum. Ah, okay. I see. Are we gonna go see them now? Ah. Ah. Very clever game. Very clever. Very clever Ebu, in fact. He made shoes. That's how he survived. Don't know how he lived for 100 years, nor about the Pasha either, but apparently that's it. Okay, let's have a gander, shall we? Yes. Lovely leather-bound ones as well. Very good quality. With a brand in there I spot as well. Well, alrighty then. Not much to be seen here, so I guess I'll just pick another door. It's not raining anymore. I suppose we're technically in the desert now, so that's what it is. Let's see, we have this door. That door, that door, that door. Let's just go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by the toe. If he squeals, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Well, I kind of threw myself there. So this one. Let's go in here. What secrets do you hold? What stories do you have to tell? I'm not sure I'll... Oh. No story. We're just back here. Ah. I see. I like that. I don't know why. I just love this imagery. It's just so weirdly peaceful and cool looking. Just all the paper airplanes on the... Well, paper airplanes. Paper boats, in fact. On the river. Kind of merging with... Never mind. It taps on the wall. It's kind of weird. It reminds me of Aardman animation. You know, the British ones who made like Wallace and Gromit. It reminds me of them for some reason. Just like looking at that. I guess it's the wallpaper. Not the actual like weird artistry of it all. But never mind. We have another 4 doors now. Also, this... Black and white bar. That was a broken bit of texture, never mind. Right. I imagine that we might actually, if we pay attention to what's on the doors, then we'll actually get a different story, but this might take half an hour, who knows? That's what the average session length said, so we'll have to see. Let's go to this one. See what we have in here. What more stories do you have? A long time ago, and the mountains could still remember their names, and the monkey gods ruled the sky. A grand feast was held atop the Gurbata Purbahat. Here, in celebration of their victory over demons, the monkey gods feasted on apples harvested from the clouds, for that was the sole fruit permitted to them. But when every god had eaten, they saw, to their utter consternation, that there was still one apple left. Being gods and not demons, these reasonable divine monkeys came to the conclusion that the apple ought to be divided equally, so that every god may have an equal share. Glad to have arrived at this solution, the monkey gods smirked to themselves and slapped each other's backs. But when a mischief maker said, "And what shall we cut it with?" the gods' faces fell, and they resumed their morose pondering till someone declared, "Summon Ubu, the blacksmith." Ubu was a giant, and it took him less than a blink of an eye to walk across the 3 realms to the gods. He listened dutifully to the chief amongst the monkey gods, and he nodded sagely at the request for a tool divided the apple with. Then, bowing his head low, rushed back to his workshop. In 10 days, Ubu returned to the monkey gods, beaming with pride at his new creation, a magnificent ray of light that stretched from infinity to infinity. The gods looked at it with some uneasiness. One of them tried to lift it and failed. Another tried in vain. When all the gods failed to bulge this piercing beam, they turned to Ubu and pleaded with him to make the smaller tool so they might use it with some ease. Okay. Why didn't he just cut the apple there then? Why did they need to cut the apple? Ah, this makes no sense. And so Ubu made his way back to the workshop, and after 10 years returned again with his gleaming new invention, a shard of lightning. The gods tried their best to heft this dazzling creation, but failed yet again, for the lightning singed their coats, leaving black unsightly streaks across some of their hands and faces. Ubu returned to his workshop yet again, and after another interminable decade of work, he approached the gods with his newest innovation, a splendid ivory tusk, curved, honed to perfection. Again, the gods tried to lift it, but found that they could not do so without having to lift the elephant that had somehow attached itself to the other end. Much disheartened, Ubu took his rarest materials and tools and set out to craft the perfect yantra. For hundreds of years and hundreds of moons, he worked on making it small enough so the gods could handle. But in his haste, it slipped from his hands and through the floorboards. Ubu bit his tongue and watched his horror as it saw it fell to earth. Ubu returned to the monkey gods to apologize profusely, but when he saw the gods had already left the feast, leaving their undivided apple for Ubu as payment. But Ubu's lost yantra had shown that is shown at this museum is a magnificent sculptural form commissioned by Maharaj Dahar Singh. I see. Oh. This is so clever. I have no idea. I'm enjoying this so much. And it's raining again. The great thing that could cut the apple. A knife. Such a simple tool compared to infinity of a beam and a lightning shard that could make Zeus blush. And float it. Can I push this apple? No, but I may see inside the apple. New grounds are being broken here, lads. What is inside the very foundations of life itself? Nothing. Nothing at all. That is the true meaning of the world now, lads. Right then. We have this door or this door. Well, we went right before, so let's go left this time. What do we have in here? This is so good. I love this. I like how it's kind of a bait and switch, but yet not at the same time. It's weird. I do love it, though. A long time ago, when the forest had ears and the sun was still sparkling off a rose eye, Shunturmul, the god of seashells, found Gurda Bear, the thunder god, perched despondently upon the edge of the Himalayas. Ever eager to help, Shunturmul asked his fellow immortal what ailed him so. And Grudal Beg moaned in reply, "Oh, Shuntur, I cannot help but bemoan my sorry state. If only I had an extra pair of eyes at the back of my head, then I would not have to turn and see what was behind me all the time. Oh, the plight of gods, it's so terrible." And when Shunturmul carefully thought and said, "There is only one craftsman in all known Lokas who can build a pair of such eyes." "Who is this right?" demanded Gurdal Beg, and Shunturmul replied, "He is called Ego and lives in the forest of Gundur." Possessed by an urge to have a pair of eyes attached to the back of his head, Grudal Beg journeyed to the mortal world. Here he disguised himself as a mendicant and soon appeared at the doorstep of Igu's workshop. Inside sat the master craftsman, surrounded by clocks and astrobals, armillary spheres and sextants, and devices even the god could not recognize. Ego appeared to be working assiduously and paid no heed to the visitor. "Oh, Ego of the fabled hands," cried Grudal Beg the merchant. "Long have I said to myself, if only I had a pair of eyes in the back of my head. Will you not craft me one such pair? You shall have my heartfelt blessings in return." Ego replied without looking up, "I am busy, much too busy." And with that, he refused to say any more. While I'm reading this and trying to think what the actual object is, I was immediately thinking binoculars, but you can't really put those on the back of your head. Maybe, like, a mirror. It's a mirror, I bet you. Grudal Beg returned to the forest next year, this time disguised as a pasha. With a retinue of armed and mustachioed guards, he reached the workshop and found Ego at his bench, as if no time had elapsed, since the god had last been here in the guise of a merchant. "Oh, Ego of the fabled hands," growled Gurdal Beg and the pasha. "Long have I said to myself, if only I had a pair of eyes in the back of my head. You shall craft me one such pair, or I shall have my guards throw you to the crocodiles." And still Ego, engrossed in his work, replied with a dismissive shake of his head, "I am busy, much too busy." And with that, refused to say any more. His patience wearing thin, Grudal Beg snapped himself into his natural form and reappeared at the workshop in all his godly glory. And still Ego would not deign to look up from the work that absorbed him so. "Ego," thundered Grudal Beg, his voice like the boom of a cannon. "Long have I said to myself, if only I had a pair of eyes at the back of my head. I demand that you craft me one such pair immediately." And again the unheeding Ego replied, "Later, I will craft it later, for I am busy, much too busy." Defeated in his quest by the bewildered Ego's preoccupation, Grudal Beg demanded, "But what is that so absorbed you? What are you building so assiduously?" And Ego looked up with alacrity, revealing that a slender box-like object with two holes cradled in his palm, and he declared, "Look, I'm building the apparatus." "A connection! A cassette tape!" Okay. I was not expecting that. I was thinking a mirror or binoculars, or I don't know what you could get for eyes in the back of your head, but I suppose. Also, lovely wallpaper. Very nice. Alright then. We looked at closer. We see what one it is. No option for that, I'm afraid. Right then. 4 doors. Or 3 doors, in fact. Yes. Well, we've been over there, Let's go over here. What's in here? Oh, I do love this game very much. I wonder where it's gonna end, actually. That's what I'm worried about here. I don't know. It was with trepidation that Henry clambered upon the podium, his fingers a nervous tremble, and his temples throbbing as he launched hesitantly into the paper that he was presenting at the Royal Society. Conscious of the blasphemous nature of his discourse and perhaps anticipating the scorn that inevitably followed, Henry stopped at every third syllable, mumbling most of his arguments and only ever alluded to the works of his colleagues in barely audible tones. Nonetheless, the gist of his arguments was immediately recognizable and even more immediately discarded and reviled. Meanwhile, Henry, oblivious to the dissenters, continued his description of a receding fabric of the sky, and observed that recorded by Hussein Masud in his book of Almatics, that Henry had been painstakingly restoring for the past 3 years. 10 years ago, when Henry was still a young administrator, he had been appointed to the Zilla Voduk Ikper. Fuck, I can't read that. Voduk Pikkar, there you go. And under his domain was placed in the care of the old in the town of Ordi. Ordi was the site of a great observatory, the Maharaja Goshal Singh Bungla, and Henry was distressed at finding that the place was delicate astronomy, inclining buildings plundered and riddled with cannonball holes. The excavation and restoration he commissioned here had occupied the best years of his service, and his devoted effort had led him to an inescapable conclusion: that the chief astronomer at Ordi, a scholar by the name of Hussein Masud, had discovered a fundamental truth about the universe that still eluded his Occidental brethren. Masud had claimed with reliable detail that the unknown universe seemed to be splitting apart, would eventually scatter its components across an infinitude amount of distance. Aha. Is this a black hole he's discovered, maybe? Those were only discovered like 20 or 30 years ago, wasn't it? I don't know. It was the need to share his observation that had occasioned his lecture at the Royal Society. But Henry realized it had all been a mistake. The attempt at galvanizing support for the study and for the accumulation of Masud's writings were laughed at. And by the end of the evening, he skulked away unnoticed, but confronted by a singular thought that at least he had not handed all over his findings and artifacts on Ordi to the activists at the Society, archivists, where they would doubtlessly have been thrown into the basement never to be heard from again. Instead, he had kept most of his plundered wealth from Ordi to himself. The brass astrobles and the copper-ringed almari spheres made from marble discs had been repaired and now ordained his study, but his favourite possession was an inconspicuous box full of strange sticks that were bulbous at one end. He did not know what this device did or how it was meant to function, but he held on to his untimely death, whereby the box was auctioned to a collector of colonial artifacts. A replica of this box is kept in the museum in memory of Henry's contribution to the restoration of Ordi and the continued relevance of Hussein Masud's writings that are now widely acknowledged to have been prophetic and accurate. What is it then? Matches! I see. Okay then. Interesting. Well, nothing crazy going on here. Lovely wallpaper. Let's see, what's a lantern? Lantern? I think so. Safety matches. I see, okay, nothing crazy going on there. Alright, that one or this. Ooh, this one's unmarked. Ooh, suspicious. Want to go inside. Let's go. What's behind the unmarked door? Who knows? Oh. Why, crows! And, oh, geez. And a pipe system. Of course. The copper floor. Oh, the floor does not match. The shadows does not match the tall wall. Of course, because that's all the chicken wallpaper, and that's, well, this is a different one entirely. Have we missed one? I think we have. It was the last object she gazed upon, the portrait of Rouhani, the progenitor of Shangri-La. There was a vindictive anger in her trembling fingers as they pulled at the marble within the ornate frame to try and wrench the portrait loose. I will not let them take this, she thought. I will not let them steal it from me, this tangible memory of Rouhani, my grandmother. As Parks heaved at the mural stuck to the wall to try and dislodge the portrait of Rouhani, unbidden tears sprang to her eyes. She had lived in this Haveli for as long as she could remember. The museum was the only home she had known. She had learned to marvel at the audacity of her grandmother Rouhani, We had been told the tale of Rouhani until it was inscribed into her being. Had she not been told that this museum was her legacy, a tangible remnant of Rouhani's incredible life? And now to see it torn and carted away was too much to bear. With anger came the memory of the municipal decision to tear down the museum. The memory of the destitution after the riots and the grinning face of the municipal contractor who... Oh, got to... Give it a minute, we got to really scroll this one. Who promised never to dislodge even a grain of sand when buying the property from her father. I can just hold it. And now with the paper signed and the family evicted, the museum was being torn down. She could hear the sounds of the municipal surveyor in the other room, his camera making unwelcome mechanical sounds. Already they sent their scavengers to appraise the artifacts. She cursed him with the final tug, dislodged the mural, and left the museum by the back door, never to return to the place again. Ah. A word I cannot understand. Finn, perhaps? Ah, there we go then. That's the end of it. Well, obviously it cannot be really the end of it. We did not go in a lot of doors, so I think we were going to leave that there. And I shall leave it up to you guys to go and have an explore for yourself. This is, I don't know if this is because I'm really getting the area of where this philosopher worked and grew up. This reminds me a lot of Rudyard Kipling's writings, quite a bit. Like Jungle Book and Kim, for example, those kind of things. I don't know why, but it sort of just has that sort of air of like natural majesty, I guess. It's really hard to describe. I'm probably just being an absolute tool by talking about it like this, but I don't know. That's what I thought, at least. And the whole, I don't know if this is just because like just the order that we got them in, and it was just random like that. But the bait and switch thing of talking about the great way to cut this apple that even the gods could not figure it out, and it was just a knife. That kind of thing. Anyway, enough of me looking stupid. Let's end that video here. That was a great game. I really, really liked it. Obviously not much of a game per se, but certainly an experience. Kind of like the Zion Museum. Just so you can wander around and have an explore for yourself. And this is quite a cool exploration. A lovely little adventure for us all to have. Anyway, that will do it for this episode. Link in the description if you want to play this game for yourself. So name your own price step deal, and I'd highly recommend it. Hope to see you guys in the next one. See you later. Oh, and Happy New Year as well. It should go out on the 1st of January. So, yay for 2018. Hope it's a good one. See you later.